Enable menu narration.
Fire, flint, language, machines. In the face of crises, humanity adapted. We became warriors, explorers, builders, dreamers flying forward,
This heat wave is extraordinary. It's about as hot as it can physically
in control of a changing world.
and there are no signs. 45 in Paris, the highest temperature ever recorded. Hurricane Zeta, the world's worst Category 6 storm, is just now public in the thousands of residents are preparing for yet another night without power.
Flooding earlier in the week in parts of Italy and France. All concerns will turn to the Baltic. Firestorms began in central Latvia, but different than 8 Baltic nations that had
Price of fresh water rose again today in the London Stock Exchange, hitting an all-time high.
I'm old enough to remember what that world used to be like. We had places we belonged, country, community, family.
have ravaged 50% of global shipping ports, threatening food supply chains.
The population continues to riot in the streets.
Militaries to fortify their borders using
At what point does a country stop being a country?
One failed state became a dozen, and now there's millions of refugees headed every direction, except home.
Estimate that 1.2 billion people have been displaced by this shocking chain
We
reaction.
call ourselves nomads, the non-patriotic, stateless warriors fighting for our survival.
The world's non-patrioted finally using science between Russia and the United States in their
Caught
quest
between
for
the last two superpowers as they circle each other, fighting for resources, threatening to draw us into a new kind of war.
This is the emergency broadcast system. A blackout event has occurred.
That has disrupted electronic communication across the planet. We don't know what has happened. Are we broadcasting? Are we on air?
Blackout communications and navigation systems, leading to massive disruption.
Causes unknown. Russia and the United States have been pointing fingers, escalating tensions between the nations to fever pitch. Escalating war between the superpowers as imminent.
We're headed to Doha to keep an American satellite from falling into Russian hands. And the intel on board is all the excuse either side needs to send us straight to hell. But we faced crises before. The nomads were born out of it. We are the warriors. We are the adaptation. And this fight is ours. Listen up. I only have time to explain this once. Inside the combat zone, there are two opposing armies fighting to gain and then hold sectors.
The fight continues until one side runs out of reinforcements and is forced to withdraw. That's it. Now, how do you gain sectors? You gain a sector by securing the objectives inside. To secure an objective, clear it of all hostiles. Once one side holds all the objectives inside a sector, it's theirs. Holding more sectors than the enemy causes them to bleed reinforcements. You bleed the other team to zero, and it's over. You take the field. Sure, you can light up hostiles and whittle down enemy reinforcements, but matches are won or lost by capturing sectors. Eyes on the prize, people. Move out!
Heads up! New Cortex! U.S. forces in the vicinity!
Wow. You think you can pass me through to him?
I'll try! Hold on! This is Commander Connell. Who am I talking to?
Kimball Gray, sir. Part of a NOPAT task force on the ground.
We're engaging the Russian ground forces. Unless you NOPATs want to get caught in the crossfire, I suggest you join us.
We got a choice? When?
Sending coordinates. See you on the field.
So much for stopping a war.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Battlefield 2042.
Okay, squads, strategy's simple. Capture your objectives, take control of the sectors, and repel the enemy.
It seems we face professionals.
Attack the objective! Go!
Monitoring your advance, NOPATs. Take that objective and show the enemy no quarter. Intel shows no hostiles present. NOPATs, you are free to move on that objective.
Move to that location!
Locate and capture objectives. This battle's not over yet.
This time to marker! Let's move! Nice job!
The sector is now under our control. You NOPATs don't
Doing
disappoint.
good so far, troops. The hostiles hold fewer sectors than we do. Bravo 1 is now our target. The enemy controls Sector Alpha.
So yeah, welcome guys to Battlefield 2042. First gameplay this time. It's on Steam sale for like $9 whole. So once I saw that, I was very stoked to get my hands on some. Yeah, that's a COP 52.
1
Ooh,
is
that's a
now our
tank.
target.
So was that. Hi, bud.
Impressive! I'm close!
Sector Alpha secure. All sectors secure. Let's keep it that way. They're digging into their reinforcements now.
Do not leave the combat area or you will be extracted from the battle.
Go get him, puppy dog.
We're executing the plan, holding sectors.
Everyone defend!
Keep us updated.
I need enemy first!
active. Now control Sector Charlie. Russian forces have hit Bravo 1. This could be the final wave. Russians are short-handed.
Spotted a hostile! 60 meters away from my position!
Enemies attacking Bravo 1.
The enemy's just secured Sector Bravo.
We are about to attack Bravo 1. Time to turn this battle around, troops. We must claim more sectors.
Sending a tank on my position!
Wilco, the vehicle's on its way.
Let's begin, please.
Alright, so I guess that was just a little intro of how to actually do everything, which is nice. Obviously, you guys know that I've played. If you've seen if you've watched me since I was on console, I wasn't really streaming then, but I had definitely played Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5. So I basically played all of the major battlefields. Obviously, my favorite's going to be Battlefield 3, nonetheless. But I'm super stoked to be finally getting back into playing Battlefield 2042, or to start playing Battlefield 2042. So yeah, I'm just excited. So let us see. Classes. Got Assault, Sundance, Special Gadget, Scatter Grenade. I'm just trying to get like the layout of like, okay, what exactly are all the different buttons? What is this? Doozer. He's got a riot shield. Nice. Engineer Boris. He's got LG. Yeah, a lot of guns. Very futuristic, very future. 2042 weapons. Okay, so there's a battle pass system. I wasn't sure if there was or not. Premium. Get new operators. Nice. One second, I just want to see something. Sorry, I just wanted to check. I wanted to change my name tag since obviously you guys know me as Bullet Penguin, so I wanted to just switch that, but I'll do that later. Alright, classes. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I kind of go between all of them. I kind of, if I do sniper, I kind of put a machine gun or like a marksman with a sniper. I never really put a sniper with a sniper. I'm just not that kind of that kind of a thing. So assault, primary, Sundance, special scatter grenade. What kind of? I think you can like see Let me see if I can. How do I? Oh, that's right. I forgot. You can switch between all of them. See, this is what I was super excited about when I saw the trailer. I was like, yes, freaking please, dude. Oh, I'm so excited. Give me that freaking M4. Sorry, M16. And give me, not this, that's not. Yeah. Like, give me this guy, Jesus. Wait, you can customize your characters? Hold on. No way. Oh, you could just switch your character, okay. I gotcha. I was like, I want to. That would be sick if I could do that. Battlefield. I've never. Okay, that was. I never played Battlefield Bad Company. Yeah, that's the one I never played. Classes. Oh, so I guess you could just play as one of these in. Well, that's kind of neat. I think I'm probably gonna start as assault. That's kind of what my smoke grenade, armor plate. Isn't there a way to see all like the vehicles and shit? How do I recon store profile collections? Oh, here we go. Weapons. Gear. Tank line. Recoilless M5. Nice. Tracer dart gun. Oh, that's neat. Medical crate, ammo crate. Oh, the ones we get. Spring grenade. Oh, that's sick. That reminds me of The Division. That's another game I have it. I just, when I upgraded my RAM, I never, oh. Okay, so if you guys have seen my freaking TikToks, or if you've seen my videos in Call of Duty, you'd see that I'm gross when it comes to, throwing knives. E-grenade, EMP grenade. Alright, what's this? Oh, yeah, got the love. I love the Stinger missile, or the futuristic Stinger. C5 explosive, Claymore, or Oxy sensor. What does that do? Oh, pretty nice. Explosive launcher. That's kind of nasty. Soul Flam. EOD bot. Gotta love the good old EOD bot. My personal favorite, the Javelin. Pouch, medical pouch, and the basic RPG. Let's see what kind of vehicles we got. The Lav, Letiv, or Recon. A Wildcat, which has basically got a, what is it? Basically got a ZSU turret on the front with two, I guess, AA launchers on it. Got a Mav with a FT cannon on the front. That doesn't look. Maybe it's a 50. I don't know, but it looks more like a 20. But it might be a 50. I don't know. The Tor tank. Oh, yep. Gotta have the railgun. Gotta have it. Gotta have the railgun. And what looks like active protection on the side, that panel right there. It's neat. Oh, yep. Just a nice futuristic tank, or R with a turret on the top. Okay. Oh, okay. Nope. Go back. Gotta love the Fast and Furious tank. Got the Nightbird, got the Hovercraft, pretty standard. Got the Huron, F-35 Panther. Condor. I love anything that's like this. I do not know why. I love it. Got our M1A5. I I guess, futuristic Abrams, I guess. Yep, gotta have the Felon. Gotta have the Super Hokum KF5220 or 520. And our Super Hind T-28 Russian tank. Hey, you gotta have the dog. Gotta have the doggo. Conquest breakthrough. Oh, what did I do? Oopsies. I think I exited the game on accident, even though I meant to quit the matchmaking. Okay, so for some reason, I've noticed that it just decides to have like a really weird loop in the game, like the loading screen. I did have noticed that. I'm not sure why. Alright, so I think I figured out what the issue is. There's some filing issues or whatever, so it's like it doesn't boot up correctly on the first try. But it does after the times after like the second try or whatever. So ooh, I'm gonna want to watch that. CitizenCon. Oh, that's right. Cause start CitizenCon. I forgot. I'm gonna save that. Sorry, completely off topic. Here, let's see if you want to work again. All right, so yeah, it's just the first. If it just takes a few chances to do it. There's a, cause it's kind of like some games where it's like it needs a launcher to do it, and it doesn't need a launcher to do it. And so, but no, I'll do the battle pass later.
Salut. Let's go.
Let's go. Where we dropping? Classes. I tried using controller there. That was actually, you guys seen my controller gameplay. I think I'm probably gonna be better at with mouse and keyboard. But let me take a peek to the store. Not buying anything yet. Still enjoy the game. Don't plan on it. But buy your team. Oh, that looks kind of sick. Ooh. Literally fire team. Got some nice weapon skins. Like I hear that. Listen to the sounds. It's like that static effect is such the Division, and I love it. Oh, it's so nice. Catalog. Battlefield coins. do you get at 10? I'm curious. Someone who has masks and horns. Nice. Cool. Alright, let me check one thing. Where am I going here? Hold on one sec.
All you guys in person.
Alright, you guys, we're going to switch over to a live stream. For CitizenCon at Star Citizen.
I think a lot of our community orgs have set up their camp, so definitely check that out. There's a Dragonfly replica with the pyro paint job on. Get pictures taken
let me know
on.
on your end. It should be the same.
We have the Atmo Esports first in-person flight or fight tournament, which I think will be really cool. And most importantly, we have 150 computers that you guys can get down and sit and start to play and experience the beginnings of pyro. And I'd like everyone to know that the people that aren't here in person, we're going to be able to give select access to the Pyro Playground next week. So we'll have more details on that if you go to our website, robertspaceindustries.com, to find out how that works.
Pyro for us next week, apparently.
This year is the most excited I've ever been at a CitizenCon. I think we're going to show some stuff that's going to blow your guys' minds. A lot of stuff we've been working on really hard, actually, for the last few years. Anyway, I can't wait to see what you guys think of it. And there's a lot of stuff that's been iterated on by Squadron 42. You guys will have probably noticed that the tasks have dried up on the task tracker.
Give it time.
And you're going to sort of see the results of that over these next 2 days.
If we're not jumping, it doesn't matter.
So hopefully you like it. And a lot of what you're going to see is going to be coming into Star Citizen over the next 12 months. Even a few little things will come into 322 at the end of this year. But definitely next year, a lot of what you'll be seeing will be coming in, and it's going to make a dramatically different experience in Star Citizen.
I want to believe him.
Me too.
I want to believe
same thing last year.
On that.
I want to believe him.
So to our opening presentation, I noticed there was a little concern occasionally in the community that they were afraid by the time Star Citizen finally becomes 1.0 releases, maybe our tech's going to be obsolete. But to paraphrase Mark Twain, or misquote Mark Twain, because I don't think he actually said this, the news of Star Citizen's obsolescence has been greatly exaggerated. We're always going to be evolving and improving, taking advantage of new technology, even long after Star Citizen is out of alpha and we're at 1.0 and below and beyond. So,
I think we're going to see some RTX lighting here.
Things
gone backwards now. It needs, come back. There you go. Sorry.
It's running on PowerPoint.
He never knows how to use the
We
PowerPoint
thought
thing.
this CitizenCon
I'm just going to switch over to this guy real quick.
Would be a great place to share a lot of the tech we've been working on for the last couple of years. This presentation will be from our core technology group, which is what we formed our graphics and our online tech, audio tech, engine tech under. And they're responsible for being the tech and our engine that runs both Star Citizen and Squadron. And we're going to give you basically a session talking about some of the new stuff that's coming into the engine in the near future. But before I do that, we're going to run a little video here to remind ourselves just everything we have in Star Citizen and our tech does, because I think sometimes people don't realize everything that we can do all together. So
this is the be grateful
that video.
reel.
Enjoy.
Be grateful for what you have reel. This could be fake gameplay.
I wouldn't doubt it. It would be really funny if it was.
This isn't fake gameplay. Yep.
No way. Well, I can't say that yet because I don't know if you know what's happening.
Cool. $64 bits. Sick. Yeah, shooting on Starfield. Physicalized frozen ocean. Whoa. Nah, this isn't counted as fake gameplay. This is just an in-engine cinematic. They've got to make it look like, oh, and then you walk up to the counter, then you do this, and no. Carrick. Let's go.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, I don't think so. I'm gonna keep my shit.
Will they cheap it?
This is such a big F you to Starfield. It's so funny. I mean, Starfield's
That
already
cave
dead.
is not really there.
Starfield's already dead, so. Oh, gotta look at the commercials. I love commercials.
When do we get birds? Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, wait, we've got animals.
Hey, we have apples. I think that is new. Never had those before.
Wait, it's not pets. Oh, do I not have animals on here? Oh, I actually don't have animals on the bingo card. My bad. Milk it quickly! No, it's not an alien race. Wait, was there alien races? I was too busy looking at the card. Or do you mean the cow? I have pets in the bingo, but that's reserved for actual player pets. Nah, that doesn't count for either of those. What kind of quantum is this?
Is it, yeah, I was gonna say, is it quantum? Like a hyperdrive, maybe?
There's actually stuff in the game files about in this patch about a like a dog pet thing in particular, so I'm saving it for that.
Asteroid belt.
Real-time asteroid technology.
Asteroid technology. It's the Expanse all over again.
Invisible asteroids.
I don't know. I'm not really
They
sold
said
yet.
this was stuff that's already in game. We didn't have them cows. No alien races yet. That's not a race.
You have a day.
The cow is not a race.
By the way, if you guys are wondering, I'm not actually talking to him. I'm just using his YouTube video. Yeah, we don't actually. We already have clouds and gas giant scales and all that. And we already have whatchamacallit.
That's what they said it was. They said this is what we already have when it's not.
Yeah, exactly what he said.
We ain't got them cows.
So we already have a day and night cycle.
Cow is an alien race. Shut up! The cow is not an alien race. They're definitely not sentient. If they can be milked that easily.
He kept saying that.
Unless that whale flies off, that doesn't count as a space whale either.
Oh yeah, we don't. If we did, everyone would be like wanting them as a pet.
Cow racing confirmed. Life cycle the banister, that's the cow.
MSR, one of my favorite ships. Mercury Squadron. Oh!
Oh!
Here we go.
Oh! What?
Ahsoka.
They got boobs! Alright. I'll let that count. Alright,
so we actually got creatures now. That's really sick.
Alright, we got space whales. You can put space whale in there.
I was not expecting that. Space whale. Quantuming again? Yes, we are.
Oh, that's the jump game.
Yeah, this must be a new
Milk them!
quantum or jump drive
Should have put space milk as an option.
animation.
Oh!
What are you?
Oh, that's just a jump.
Oh yeah, it's a jump board. For Pyro, I'm guessing.
0 for 2. It's a jump game.
That's a cool animation.
Still looks like how they showed it forever ago.
So this is Pyro. This must be one of the new...
Dirty.
Massive fully explored station. Yeah, it's supposed to be Pyro, which is like a whole nother...
Streaming on demand.
I want to say Galaxy, but...
No, the Whales Again is an alien race.
It's a sick ass station. What was a station? It certainly looks like it was belonged to shit.
Yeah. No, it's more sliders, actually, you guys. No, the whales don't count as alien race. They count as space whales. Space whales is an option on the bingo. Ooh, see, I like this. I like this style. I can't wait for being Pyro and things look like this. No, that counts pets. They were saying this is what we have now, but they've already proved that wrong because they had that cow initially. What? Melanin-driven skin shader.
I have a feeling a lot of people are not quite pleased with this presentation. I mean, it's a nice presentation, but it's not anything that I think what we were expecting. I think we were expecting...
Dwayne's cat is NPC crew. Nah, it's not fake gameplay. This is just the in-game engine cinematic.
Pyro station.
It's pretty sick though. Yeah, CR's already lied. It's all faked, but they're not trying to pretend. They gotta pretend to us that it's gameplay footage. That's what I mean by fake gameplay. Like they've gotta have like pretend like, you know, it's from the character's perspective and stuff.
Ooh. Alright, so we've got our first planet.
They really failed on naming the planets in the system, didn't they? Pyro 1, Pyro 2, Pyro 3.
He's not wrong. That's our first planet in the Pyro system. Pyro 3.
Boy. Shaft technology. Nice.
I can only imagine what level Cap's talking about, what he's saying right now. Those clouds are nice. Hey, is the
Reclaimer!
Is the freaking claw on the front gonna start working now? That would be sick.
Ooh, new exhaust port technology.
Oh.
Yay!
Dynamic fire simulation. That's funny. Yay, my ship burning. That guy's just standing in it. Walking through it. Bathing
in it. Okay, that's more realistic. First just walked into it.
Yeah.
No, fire tech's not on the bingo ship. crew.
I love the music. I always love cinematic music in games or movies. I used to love the music.
Yeah, name dropping Space Whales is the only one so far.
Okay.
Nah, not player epos. These are all NPCs.
That was definitely an X-Wing sound from Star Wars.
And I was generous with the Space Whale one, alright?
I think Space Whales is the only thing that sold me on that. I don't really care about graphics. It's like it's animations and stuff. Okay, that's turrets and stuff. That's cool.
Only if they actually say something about player tabs. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. That's just not in the fucking game. Fuck off. Oh, fuck off. You don't have physically based destruction either. No, this is getting close to Sandworm. They're on the verge of Sandworm.
There's a penguin right there. That's fine.
Because it's the real-time cloth simulation. You don't have that. Yeah, they said this is what's in the game. Was that real-life herpes simulation?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what everyone's reaction is, but like I said, this is one long ass fucking intro, I'm not gonna lie. Star engine.
Yeah, I was talking about what the engine could do for neural disease technology. God. Man is dying.
Right then.
God. But no, that doesn't count as fake gameplay. That was like an engine. Like
Star engine.
You know, I was generous with the Space Whales because there's no way they're saying that the Space Whales are going to be in the game.
I think that sequence holds the record for the longest spline in the history of computer games. I think we're close to 1 billion kilometers traveled during that whole sequence.
So
hats off to the engine team and supported by our cinematic artists that put it together. I also need to call out Pedro Camacho's music, which is always beautiful and sets the scene so well. And it's pretty stunning to think that hopefully from this video, and we're going to go into some of the new features later on in more detail, and you'll see actually better representations of some of the simulation that was happening there. But it's pretty amazing to think that all that happens inside the engine seamlessly without switching, loading screens, or anything else. You can go from down up close to a blade of grass all the way out.
Notoriously difficult to program for.
Star system. And that's actually one of the hardest things to do, especially when you do it at the scale we do online with that level of physical simulation, with hundreds of players, thousands of AI running around. It's hats off to our tech guys who are going to be coming up and talking about what they're doing.
They're just looking at their phones.
Now, obviously, some of the things in here aren't in the current live build of Star Citizen. Like, for instance, at the very beginning, I don't know if you noticed the conductor with the hair blowing and the tails blowing. That's all simulated in real time, and we'll talk about it on the physics part of the upcoming speech. But I'm going to turn the stage over to the core technology group to talk about some of all this new tech that you just saw and go into more detail. And we'll be rolling into Star Citizen over the next 12 months or so. And some of it,
how sick was that cow, though?
Will actually come in 322, which is
I want to see Space
Web.
Cool.
But before I do this, I wanted to introduce Benoit Beautresor, who, as a lot of you know, Turbulent have been our long-term partners here in Star Citizen since the end of 2012. And they built our web platform and our digital distribution platform, and a few years ago started to help us on developing the game. We have almost about 100 game developers in Montreal, because Montreal is a great place for game developing talent. And this year we brought Turbulent into the fold of CIG, and they're now fully part of CIG. So this July they joined us, and Benoit, who is the Chief Technical Officer of Turbulent, has now become the Chief Technical Officer of Cloud Imperium. And along with him and Marc Boudet, who is the CEO of Turbulent, is now our head of global studios. They're strengthening our management team at CIG, and I'm really happy to have them. And
wealthy dudes always have the jacket
Benoit
one
come
size
to
too
the stage,
small.
Since he leads up the tech group, and he can give you a little setup of what we're going to be doing this year and going forward, and some of the new initiatives we're going to go. So, Benoit?
All right, we might hear some shit here for the bingo.
Come up to the stage.
Benoit.
Shaping the verse, the future of Star Engine.
Benoit Beautresor.
All right, let's do it.
Here's the clicker, or did you take your own?
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Hello. Hello, Benoit.
Bonjour.
Hello, mon ami. Bonjour, Benoit.
Bonjour, CitizenCon. We are so happy to be here. It's been so long to see you guys physically and just being able to interact. It's been fantastic so far. We're super excited about all this.
Really, Baron?
The video you just watched outlined a lot of features in the Star Engine. It's a reminder of what makes this game so special. It's a focus on fidelity. I said it. It's a focus on immersion. And it's a focus on seamlessness, being able to go everywhere, and you're just there. The accomplishments from the tech teams at CIG have been numerous in building all the technology that allow you to run the game and allow you to experience the same things that we see in our dev setups. And so what we're about to see today is a deep dive into all these features. But first, I wanted to touch really quickly on this last year. We have launched persistence, or added persistence. It's been a rocky road this year, and I want to thank you guys for keeping on playing, giving us a hand, giving us good bug reports. It's been fantastic for us to improve the stability of the game, so thank you so much. You guys deserve a hand of applause. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're right.
I just want to touch on one bit, which is that all the people you will see in the next couple tech panels are really the best of their
There's information there on the Pyro preview channel.
They are
that link.
Infused by a value that we tremendously value at CIG, which is relentless optimism. that this game can be made, that this vision can be achieved. And so, without further ado, but first, I got one more thing to say. So, in all of the different panels that you'll see, all the updates, everything that you'll see on screen, whether it's a HUD, an MFD, a ship UI, FPS weapons, everything, all of this is new. So as you watch the clips, you're going to see some differences. That's because this all comes from the freshest implementation that we have. We love open development. We love to show you guys the work in progress. And so that's exactly what we're going to look at today. And so without further ado, I'll leave you with Marco, who will show you all the cool and amazing features of our engine and the challenges that we face. Thank you so much, guys.
Ooh, very cool. Nah, he's not about to cry. It's just French.
Thanks, Benoit. Hello, I am Marco Corbetta, VP of Technology, and we're going to talk about Star Engine today. We have been developing Star Engine for many years with the goal of creating an online living universe. But creating a universe is not an easy task, and even more difficult to do everything seamless without any loading screens or invisible walls. And massive spaceships flying very fast, close to the terrain and objects, are pushing the limits of procedural generation and streaming. This is not a single-player game, so creating this universe online is making everything more challenging. We stream and generate physics on server on CPU, and we already support more than 100 players on a single server, more with server meshing. To support all this, the engine must do a lot of work every frame. So in a typical Star Engine frame update, we got up to 64 hardware threads, about 200 software ones, over 700,000 streamed in entities and millions of entities overall in the solar system, about 150,000 updates per frame. We have over 200 vehicles, spaceships, and ground ones, over 2 million physical objects, over 100,000 objects generated per frame when flying over the terrain. We have many unique locations, streaming on demand.
So this is still just like what the engine can do. I mean, that's the whole point of this talk at the moment.
Many new features that we are going
We're not
to
saying that
today.
this is technically what you can do in the game at the moment. It's still just like what the engine can do.
Clouds and fog, worked on by custom vendor in the R&D team. The first new feature is the light shafts. They are volumetric shadows from clouds cast into the
shaft
atmosphere.
Technology.
They're truly volumetric and 3D, fully integrated. They're not just a post effect as it is usually done in games. With this, the atmosphere from an overcast sky gets darker, and this is important for planets and locations with bad weather. Another component is the new ground fog. It follows the terrain up to a specified elevation for different locations. It is also fully integrated into the atmosphere. It receives volumetric shadows from clouds and terrain. It reduces the light scatter into the view ray.
Very nice.
And in this video, we're showing all the features combined together.
Bro, 6 shaft.
In addition, we made many improvements to cloud shaping to allow for more variation and details.
See the volumetric fog around that dude's shaft?
The shape noise blending,
Give me the
vertical
vapors.
variation has been improved a lot.
Whew. Fair call, fair call. Decent shaft, bro. That's called the god. That's called the god shaft. What are they clapping for? Good on ya.
Also, we made improvements to shorten
okay, that ground fog
distance
actually
read,
pretty
and
cool.
the tiling is less visible.
Right, see the clarity in that dude's shaft? Woo. Volumetric shafts. God shaft. deep can the shaft go? Bro, you don't want to know. It's a good fog shaft. Or double shaft. Awful cloud rendering. Oh, there you go. Okay. There, that is improvement. All right, yeah. All right.
And best
all right.
of all,
yeah.
best
If
of
you
all,
put a shaft in a cloud.
we're going to include
right,
all these
chat.
new features and
They
improvements
put a shaft in a cloud.
the next 3.22 release. Okay. Thank you.
Oh. He
And
said
then
that
we're
was
gonna-
going in the next release.
And then we're gonna put a shaft in a cloud.
Bro, that shaft was crazy. You all see that fucking shaft just then? Crazy. High simulation and rendering.
Hi everyone. So I'm Mike Snowden. I'm the director of visual effects.
Probably
And I'm
related
Ali Brown,
to
the director of graphics and procedural tech.
probably related to Edward Snowden.
Thank you very much. Really happy to be here. Really excited to show you. We're going to be showing dynamic fire in Star Engine.
Bro really wanted to leave.
So dynamic fire is a driver for gameplay in both FPS and multi-crew experiences. It creates emergent sandbox gameplay, and it can be used by designers to craft very dangerous scenarios for players. And as you can see from the video, it gets very intense.
No crap.
It's an expensive shaft.
Looks like cold fire. Jesus Christ, it's
Okay,
expensive
so
shaft.
how do fires start in Star Engine? Well, there needs to be a source of ignition, and there are multiple ways in which it can occur. For example, weapon impacts or misfires, explosions or damaged items, and the player needs to be alert to their surroundings with fire an ever-present threat. If a fire does break out, you're going to see it dynamically propagate through the area, causing damage to environment and player. And at this point, the player needs to limit the damage, of course, by extinguishing the fire in any way that they can. So when doing so, they're going to need to wear protective clothing to protect them from extreme heat. They're going to need to wear a closed helmet to protect them from smoke inhalation, poor oxygen
That's a
levels.
good point.
And there's actually multiple ways the fire can be extinguished, including the removal of heat, for example, using the fire extinguisher, which is my personal favorite.
Someone started clapping when they saw the fire extinguisher, but then they
the
realized
removal
no
of
one else
oxygen,
was.
for example, locking off the area, venting the oxygen, creating a vacuum. Or simply, the fire's burned so fiercely that it's done everything it needed to do. It has
That'd be
nothing
cool,
left for it to
G-Force.
destroy. And if you let it get this bad, it's probably time to consider repairing your ship.
Nah, they're not frustrated. They're enjoying it.
Okay, so how do we achieve this from the technical perspective? Well, the first thing the artists and designers do is they mark up their scene to tell us what physical properties that each surface is made from, whether it's wood or metal. But not only on the surface, we have to describe what is behind the surface. You might see a
firefighting
metal
suit would
panel
be
on your
cool.
spaceship, but is it got cladding or wiring behind it? It's important we know all this so we know how flammable it is. Then after this, we have to define all the physical properties that go with these surfaces. So, for example, what the mass is, the energy density, combustion temperature, fuel ratio. And we use all these physical properties and we sum them up in each voxel, which is a 1 by 1 meter cube. And then once we have these voxels, this forms the basis of our simulation.
Yeah, they've showed tech for
first
their
thing we do
fire.
is we look for sources of ignition.
It's not just
and then
out
we're
of
off.
nowhere.
So here's our debug mode that shows us what's going on in the simulation and is what we use to track it. And you can see these squares enlarging to show us where the fire is spreading.
Sandworm has to be
For each
something
of
they
these
show
voxels,
us.
We're tracking the fire, the
There's no
temperature,
proof
fuel
of
remaining,
its actual
the amount of
existence.
smoke.
That's
and
just
the
out of nowhere.
Fire is propagating via convection and radiation, which are both accurately simulated. And it's consuming the gases and producing the knock-on products as well as it goes. And because we're using a proper simulation, like Mike mentioned, when you vent a room, not only are you removing the oxygen and putting the fire out, but if the temperature remains the same, if oxygen is reintroduced, the fire will reignite and it will continue burning, just like it would in real life.
We're getting very close to resource management with this.
So what's next for this? So our focus has been on interiors, in particular spaceships, but all interior spaces really, and this voxel grid really helps us solve that problem. Our next focus is going to be on planets. Obviously, they represent a slightly different challenge, the vastness of them. We have to transfer this over the network and simulate it slightly differently. And we also have to render it at scale. But the way we've done it, the core tech we've used, we should be able to scale this up quite easily. So that's going to be our next focus.
Okay, so how do we create realistic dynamic fire visuals in Star Engine? Well, we start with the simulation, as just described by Ali, and this gives us the data we need to drive the visuals. Then we bring in the burn shader. So this can be applied to static environments.
The scorch marks
we have
is
a
what I'm
lightweight version
doubting.
of the shader for entities, which is kind of based on the dirt shader and wear. Then we've got the glow, which is an animated surface decal shader for static environments. This is where we start to bring in some nice motion. And then we bring in the GPU particles, which are spawning from voxels and in screen space. Obviously, these are doing a lot of the work visually.
I mean, it's a nice effect.
Or venting atmosphere.
Then we bring in the lights. These are spawned for clusters of voxels as opposed to per voxel.
Yeah, this
as
is
an
a tech
optimization.
demo.
A cluster being a representation of voxels
They did
close to each other.
They did Star Citizen Live.
And then we
this
bring in
stuff.
the fog. So this is height-laid volumetric fog. The smoke fills the
We've
room and
seen
it
this
goes up to the
before.
ceiling before filling the rest. And we're simulating that. So to finish, we're going to take a look at all of that put together in the game. Thank you.
Oh, this. Yeah, this is fake gameplay.
Yep.
There you go. Add that one if we got it.
Yep, is that the gameplay? Is what it wants.
Yeah, fake gameplay. Add it if you got the bingo. PC code.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be exactly what's actually going to be in the game. There's no way. Yeah, it's like the penguin.
It 100% is.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
He's like, get me off this fucking stage.
0 out of 3. I
Hello
got 2 out
everyone,
of
I'm
3.
Will Hain. I'm here to talk about water in Star Engine. So, water is a huge part of both of our games, Star Citizen, Squadron 42, and we wanted to give it a major upgrade. We were going to set 3 ideas that we wanted to impart on our water. We want it to look as good as possible, obviously. We want it to look realistic. We want it to be beautiful. We want it to be in motion constantly. It should always be moving and always be reacting to everything around it, whether that be players or objects or vehicles. And we wanted this to work on the whole scales of all of Star Citizen, all the way down from footprints in puddles to enormous ships crashing into the ocean. I'm going to talk about our updates to the water rendering first, and then we'll move on to that other stuff I discussed. So first of all, the water shaders, particularly the ocean and the river ones, were in dire need of a major upgrade. They were currently using a technique called deferred shading, which is really fast and fantastic for opaque objects, but does not translate well for transparent ones, which of course water is. So the first step that we made was to transition to forward shading. That allowed us to introduce more physically based techniques, such as proper lighting, reflection, and refraction. It allowed us to integrate the atmosphere properly into our water lighting setup. And it also meant that we could get more fun techniques, such as wave crest backlight scattering, as adding better foam rendering, which includes halftone blending, surface haze, and much more detailed bubbles on the individual bits of foam. I've got some examples of that here. In this particular screenshot, you can see the icebergs in the near frame. You can see we're refracting the iceberg underneath. It's correctly refracted. In the mid frame, you can see that the iceberg is reflected back onto the water. That is now accurate. We weren't doing that properly before. Here you can see our accurate water lighting from this really beautiful screenshot of the Gladius over the water. I love this one. So this is the objects under the water being correctly lit, which is new. And then we are applying the lighting changes from the specular highlights on the surface, and also considering the lighting from the suspended particles in the water, depending on how deep and dense the water is, which gives us this really beautiful effect. This screenshot just looks good, but what is going on is that it's demonstrating that the atmosphere and the water are sorting properly. This looks like everything is normal, but it's challenging to implement with forward-rendered water and proper ray-marched clouds like we have in game.
Just because it's all the engine stuff kind of allows them to just
And here we can see the wave crash light scattering. See
Like,
how the sun is coming across the back
none
of
of this
those waves.
is
It's
probably
lighting up
going to
the
come to game
suspended
anytime
particles in
soon.
them. It just looks gorgeous.
Just
Here
what
we have
it,
the
like
multi-layered
things that can
foam,
happen,
and
you know.
from a distance, we have both surface foam and subsurface foam rendering correctly, looking really, really nice. I've just got a video here before and after. First of all,
the foam
this
looks
is
good.
our lakes on Stanton 4. Next, we have water volumes on Horizon. There you go. And this last demo, this is a Clio on the Stanton system. This is what it currently looks like in game, and I think you'll agree, pretty dramatic difference. So the next bit that I want to talk to you, that me and the team at Planet Tech and Graphics have been working on, is of course water surface simulation. This has been an absolute pleasure to work on. So we had a few aims for this. We wanted it to be multi-input. We want physics to influence this. We want our MFX
it's the
system
most
to influence
furthest,
this.
like,
We want
from
bullets.
what's actually
We
going
want
to be in the
everything.
game.
We want high concurrency. You guys, it's a
This is
sandbox
like
game. You're going to break
how
it. You're going to
things
stick
could look
1,000 picos in our puddles. It's got to work. And it's got to be scalable. It's got to work from the tiny scales to the footprints in the puddles, all the way up to, as I said, giant ships crashing into the ocean. So the technique that we chose for this is a form of surface wave propagation. It's GPU-based, it's highly realistic at a low cost, and it can be scaled for waves of different amplitudes. So we can have all of that built right in just by adjusting a few constants. I've got a demonstration here. We're going to have the player walking through the puddle. As you can see, as he steps, you get a bigger ripple.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to not have dealt with fire and water yet, because it's kind of inconsequential.
We're doing this in 3D. You see as I'm jumping. And then this next demo, we're going to fire some bullets. This is a bit loud, this one.
So loud.
So loud.
Right, the one more thing
Take
that
that,
we had to look
water.
at. So it's all well and good, this working on a puddle, but Star Citizen is not made of puddles. It's made of oceanic planets. It's made of everything. We needed to make this multi-scale. So we wanted the water near and far, not just in a square around the camera. We wanted lots and lots at once. The solution we picked was a multi-region water sim. Now, this was really, really tricky to get right, but I really think we have now. Which basically means that we can dynamically allocate all of the simulation regions depending on what is colliding where and what resolution we need at what parts of the screen. We can optimize this very heavily to make sure that you get what you want to see at the right time. We still need to get that information onto the water, though, and that's a bit trickier. So what we devised is yet another set of regions. Now, the regions are slightly different. The simulation regions need to happen wherever something is contacting the water, and that needs to happen regardless of whether you can see it. Because if there's a collision going on there, I look away, and then I look back. If it stops going and has to restart, that looks bad. Whereas the water, we only need to know the total result when it's actually in view. So we have these new regions which cover all water in view. And the beauty of this is that we can use this for multi-input and multi-output systems. Anything can influence our water, whether it be the simulation, whether it be weather, whether it be VFX. And then anything can be affected by water now. So the water rendering reads from this. But then we can also spawn VFX particles from wave crests. We can add screen space effects. We can have a line across your visor. We don't have this yet, but it's accurate to the displaced water in front of you.
Yeah, if this was about law,
now, so we can use it to
you'd have the
influence
law
any of
thing
our work
kicked right
going
now.
forward. And here's a really good video of some of it in action. I'll just let that play. This is the debug mode. Essentially, we're moving a sphere of basically infinite mass through the water. And as you see, if we pan out a bit, we make our sphere a bit bigger, we get a much different result from the sim.
H2O.
Spawning the foam properly.
I mean,
it
that
looks
was
really
cool
nice.
splash.
Really happy with this one.
I mean, it looks nice. Not gonna lie, that looks nice.
So what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to turn on the debug mode so you can see where the regions are. You see we've got these grey boxes. They light up green when there is a hit inside the box. We've also got different sizes going on.
The
If you
stuff
look at
they
the
would have
shore
put
there,
on
there's a big cluster of text.
Star Citizen
that is
Live
a whole bunch of other
if
regions
they
because there's some stuff floating
weren't
there causing
busy
little
preparing
ripples.
for CitizenCon.
And as you see, these scale properly. We can add the results from multiple sizes of simulation together, and they influence and interact with one another accurately. You see those big waves crashing over the little sim there. It works pretty nicely. I've gone ahead of my subtitles, but I'll just let that video play out.
How many prizes can people win?
So, what does that look like when we bring it all together?
What's
What's it going to look like in game?
today,
Now, you did
maybe
see a little bit of this in the Star Engine
one
trailer,
a
but
day.
actually, I think this video does a little bit more justice to it, so I'm just going to let that play out for you.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool, I
Forward in a
guess.
second. You're going to see the wake start to happen behind us there. And from the cockpit perspective, water droplets on the glass thrown up from the water sim. This is what I'm talking about.
Droplet technology confirmed.
And that's us. Thank you so much, CitizenCon. Handing back over to Ali.
Water. Water.
Hello again. So, I'm here to talk to you today about a few other graphical things we've got coming in. I'm really proud of the
one
work
as
we've done
soon
on
as
the
possible.
fire and the water.
Aiden.
They both look amazing features. But I'm going to
The
talk
first
to you about
person to get a bingo
smaller
wins
features
a
and a few
A1
longer-term
Spirit.
R&D features we're coming in on the visual side. This first one, something we wanted for cinematics and telling a story, but also to tie into our active feature system, which is to get the face to tell a little bit more story on our characters. So this blood, sweat, and tear system is something we implemented recently, and it allows us to use a GPU particle simulation, which we project onto the face, and then we integrate it into the skin shader so we can get realistic reflection and refraction of water on your face. And we even make the skin go a little bit redder to simulate the extra blood flow when you're tired or upset. So none of this is a pre-canned animation. It's completely dynamic. We have complete control over everything. We can keyframe every single tear if we want to. And we can even simulate blood. Like here.
My ears bleeding. Ow.
Pain technology confirmed.
So next thing I want to talk about is our scope shader. Design came to me telling me that they really wanted to up the game with our rifle scopes.
Multiple prizes, so it's not just the one
didn't really
first
feel
bingo.
realistic for them, and they thought it was a real core
but the first
part
ship
of the
up for grabs.
shooter experience. So to give you an idea of what we used to do,
Even if
we had
someone
these
wins
type of-
one,
we
keep
used to
playing
use
because
type
we've
of
got more
fake
ships to
scope
give out.
meshes, which you see here, which is where we type of slice the scope in half so you can see through it. And sometimes you put these big black planes around them to obscure your vision. And we put a bit of glass on the front of it, but there was nothing really to tell you that it was a lens. So we've worked on a new scope shader, which is now going to be on all of our scopes moving forwards. And I'll give you a quick show of what that looks like in game. So on the first scope here, we're going to see it's got a infinite projected red dot scope sight. We've got lens distortions. You can see this little refraction and bending of light on it. You see it works when you don't have to be actually holding the rifle for it to work.
That's neat.
All right, calm
We've
down.
got a correct emulation of eye relief on the scope. So we have the blur, distortions, chromatic aberration. And then we've also got support for digital displays like this one, which has light amplification and has support for EMPs.
No, it's not a weapon rework.
The display is going to get distorted. So we're quite proud of this. We think it's going to give a much better, more realistic simulation of the scopes in the game.
This
And
is scope
I think
tech.
I've mentioned before, but it's not a fake effect. It applies to our scopes no matter where they are. You don't have to be using the scope. You could look down somebody else's scope and see the same thing. It's fully integrated.
Weapon rework.
Really quite proud of that.
I basically that means like ship weapon rework.
Next feature
Yeah,
I want to talk
back
about,
to
hopefully
excited,
if any of
it's
you have a
like,
HDR
shut up.
monitor and you've been playing 320, hopefully you've given a go of the HDR feature. We're really proud of this. It looks really good. And we've got some great feedback from you guys as well. There's been some strong feedback about we want extra black level control, so we're going to be adding that for you. So make sure you can tweak the image exactly how you want. And there's a great user guide on Spectrum as well if you want to know how to get the best out of it, because it's not always a straightforward tech to get the best out of. Just to give you an insight how this works.
Yeah, I mean the scopes
we've got
were
something called
fucked.
Unified
It's
Tone
good that
Mapping
they've
curve.
done
And this
that.
is the process where we map the real life colors of real life intensities of light onto what your
Dad
monitor can
bingo.
display.
Yeah.
And rather than having an SDR
Maybe tomorrow
mode
we'll
and
do a
HDR
dad
mode,
bingo.
we have like a smooth system where we can blend between SDR and HDR depending on the peak brightness of your monitor. We also pay a lot of attention to make sure we preserve the colors and the hues to keep an accurate image for the artist.
BMM
and
is
especially
banner
for skin
merchantman.
tones. We don't want them turning red or white or doing anything bizarre. Just one thing to mention, we've got some content adjustments that will be ongoing. We've got a lot of content in Star Citizen. It takes a little bit of time to make sure we balance everything so it doesn't look too dim or look like a supernova.
You're right, Usman.
Next thing I want to mention, temporal upscaling. This has been something that's been asked for a long time, and we're proud to finally get it into your hands. We've got 3 different...
It's a taste of fall.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over to Twitch because he's fun to listen to, but I want to actually see the real. Where am I going? I'm going to. Nope. I want Star Citizen.
Got the drive to win? Then let's put your skills to the test. Speed is of the essence. Play now at redbull.com/tryouts.
They said go for a drive, and these naps have been unbeatable. So we're getting Chevron with Techron for unbeatable mileage. Paying with the Chevron app makes this stop a snap, a very quiet snap. Unbeatable mileage for unbeatable drives.
Alpha 320 gives us some extra detail in our shadows across characters, and it's particularly on planets, it helps a lot. And we've also got a new texture and mesh streaming engine that helps us get as much possible detail as we can onto your VRAM on your GPU. And it does something we call load balancing. It will scale dynamically for your GPU to make sure we can get the absolute best possible results. We've also got some more streaming improvements coming in the next release. Just to give you a quick show of what the screen space shadows mean, here we've got a planet with no shadows. I think it's Microtech. The shadow maps, you see the normal shadow maps that fill in half the scene. But then when we get the screen space shadows, you look in the top of the screen or in the flowers, they type of fill in the detail for the rest. They really help type of bed the scene in and stop these things looking floating.
Okay.
Next up, I just want to talk about planets for a little bit. It's something I get asked about a lot of what's happening next with planets. So we've got quite a lot of R&D in progress. First thing, we've got 2 new pieces of tech being started recently. First is virtual terrain texturing. It's quite a technical detail, but what this means for you is we're hopefully going to get much less popping or no popping at all. And we're going to achieve this by moving all the calculations to the GPU. And we'll be reusing the same type of patch-based system that Will talked about in his water presentation. And it should give you major CPU savings as well. So we're quite looking forward to getting this in. Another benefit is that it's going to give us the ability to add more complicated logic on, so we can type of do more diverse and interesting terrain, like things like, we don't have beaches at the moment, we'll be able to achieve that. And there's other similar things where, based on the local conditions, we're able to do more advanced decision making. Next thing we want to look at, which is probably the thing we get asked about the most, is our scattering system, which is what's responsible for putting all the trees and the rocks down in the world. We're going to, again, move this to 100% to the GPU, and that should let us have vastly longer draw distances right up until the horizon, and much better performance. So we'll finally get rid of the dreaded pop of trees coming in for you. We also have to integrate it with our harvestable system, the resource system, and the awesome fire system you just saw a minute ago. Another point is it's going to be a hierarchical-based system, which what that means is we'll be able to use nearby vegetation or rocks to influence what other vegetation and rocks can grow or will show up. And this lets us produce much more complicated rule sets, so we can do things like have a tree that maybe underneath it doesn't have any grass, or maybe certain trees come together in clumps. And we'll get a much more natural distribution of vegetation. And final thing we want for planets is we want to be able to build them much easier, much faster, and we want to make sure they are truly unique. At the moment, our planets are unique. However, they are built from type of tile sets, like pre-built things that get mixed and matched together and blended in complicated ways so that you don't see the repetition. But it's not truly unique, not in the same way that the Grand Canyon might be, or the River Nile, or Mount Everest. And that's what we want. So to get that, we need to replicate the complicated natural processes on Earth, like geology, climate, erosion, and these things aren't trivial. So we've got 3 options. We've got offline tools, Houdini, TerraGen, things like this. We could simulate all these processes in the engine. But we've started some R&D a few months ago on whether we can use machine learning to do some of this. So just to give you a quick idea of how that would work, or how it could work, if you just start with some random input here, it's just like some noise. We run it through a temporary simulation, so we can type of get a more reasonable approximation of simulation at different altitudes and latitudes on Earth. And then what we do is we categorize all this into different biomes. So based on the temperature and moisture, you'd find out what is a desert, what is a forest. And this part is crucial. So this is the input for our machine learning algorithm. We could come up with this image any other way. You could hand paint it as an artist, or we could just randomize the noise to get a different set of images. And then what we do is we take the large data sets we already have from Earth, from Mars, and from the Moon, and we train it on exactly the same distribution, so biomes, so forests, grasslands, and things like this. And by training it on exactly the type of data we get in reality, we can take this and then push just that, and then we can get these lovely height maps out of it that tell us a really realistic distribution. You can see here, this is the height map, so the black areas are low. You can see all the little rivers and valleys, and this had 0 art input aside from this image, which is a very nice result. It's early days. This is based on something called a custom diffusion neural network. It's, like I said, it's pre-trained on Earth data, and it's been built up in patches so that it just doesn't become too expensive to build. And the little circular patches get like added together, and they to avoid any seams in the image. And just to help you visualize it, I've just put some colorization on it to show you where like snow and beaches might be, and just wrapped it around a planet to give you a better sense so it doesn't look quite so abstract. Yeah, but this is very early days, this stuff, but we're hopeful this will be helping the future of how we build planets quickly and efficiently. Thank you. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today is our Gen 12 renderer and Vulkan. This has been ongoing for quite some time, taking a lot longer than we would have liked, but we're finally getting to the end of this long journey. For those who don't know, the reason this was being implemented is largely for performance. We're going to be getting at least 2 times better performance on our CPU submission for rendering, which is often the bottleneck for the game, so that will directly, hopefully, translate to performance improvements. We also get better control of memory with advanced GPU features like resizable bar. And it also opens the door for some things like ray tracing and new mesh shaders. So we've got a video of a Vulkan running, that's live captured. So I can't remember which ship is this, but it's yeah, it's all working fine now. There's a couple of hitches in performance, so we can't quite release it yet, but we're looking into them, the last few performance issues and stability issues, and hopefully we'll be releasing it soon.
As the reclaimer again.
So, like I said, one of the things we really were interested in by implementing Vulkan was to get support for new hardware features, and one of the big ones was ray tracing. So with that, I want to hand you over to Ben, who's going to talk about some of our lighting research.
Hi, I'm Ben Parry, and this is Global Illumination.
Hi, Ben.
So, as Ali just said, moving over to the Vulkan renderer, and now that that's fully online, we've got access to hardware ray tracing on the GPUs that have support for it. And the best thing to do with hardware ray tracing would be to create a new, updated global illumination system for us to use. Now, I'm here to give you a fairly early preview of the work that we've done so far, but first off, I'm just going to simplify some things and ask, what is global illumination? Well, you can break the lighting in a game down to 3 components. First off, you've got direct lighting. That's not global illumination, but that's the sun, lights in the level, that kind of thing. Next up, you've got diffuse global illumination. Now that's like a whole hemisphere, like a soft lighting that affects that takes from the entire scene and lights up the pixel. And then finally, you've got glossy GI and reflections. That's like your shiny surface glints, your mirror reflections, that kind of thing. And now all of those combine together to form one glorious penguin.
Wait, that's me. No.
Now for the rest of this presentation, we're specifically talking about this guy, the diffuse penguin. Glossy GI has actually been disabled in all the videos. Even the old system videos don't show the glossy GI here, just to aid the comparison. First off, we've got a video from Chris Campbell, who's going to make us look cool.
That is nice. Okay, that I like. I like seeing that's nice. Like ray tracing.
So next up, the boring or the interesting bit. How are we doing it? How does the tech work? I'm just going to dig into that just a little bit. So we're closely based on AMD's recent paper, GI 1.0. We're probably going to build on top of that, but at the moment we're quite close to it. We ray trace against a simplified world so that we get like smoother lighting for the, since it's a diffuse scene, we want a sort of diffuse, smooth signal. This also means that we get more rays per millisecond, which is always good. And we do generate a lot of probes. So the new system is generating, well, for comparison, the old probe was about 1 probe per room, and the new system is about 25,000 probes that are all on screen at the same time. And we're going to see that now. So here's a scene that I've dramatized a little bit just to give trouble to the old lighting system. And this is what the ray tracing sees. So it's a simplified single color per object kind of thing. But then we've also got this kind of a 3D dictionary of average light values so that the light is kind of shared over things in a similar area. So going back to the scene, this is the old system. So you'd render a single image from the center of the room, blur it, and then slap it onto the entire scene. Now, as you can see, like the middle of the scene is about the right lighting, but everything else has got the middle of the scene's lighting. Like these red lights at the sides, they're basically drowned out by the table bounce that somehow made it across the room to them. So we want to replace that system with 25,000 probes, each one of them only providing light to a small area around themselves. And then we interpolate that to provide like a smooth bounce. And you can see already in the distance, like the red light is really bouncing up there. And then we add a screen space occlusion pass just to tidy up the edges on things. And there is the final composite. So what else does it do? Well, because it's real-time generation, it means we can do a real-time bounce, and we can do that with quite small areas. You can get like a really vibrant bounce that picks up off small objects in the scene. Ooh. And that means that the art team can really lean into like strong local variation on color. As again, we will see. So we'll do a side-by-side comparison on this one. As you can already see, like the spotlight's really like throwing stuff into the scene. This is just one light in the room. And we did have live updating, as you can see in the old system, but it was designed for like time of day changes rather than this continuous smooth view. And finally, it means that we can do things like glowing surfaces can just illuminate the world without having to add special lights to fake it.
I like that. I like that.
So yeah, there's two really common cases in Star Citizen particularly that this is going to help with. First off, cockpit brightness. We capture at the moment the at the moment we capture that cockpit probe in a setup scene, and then we don't update it as you're flying around. So you're not going to get the sky color in, and you're not going to get the ground color in. And then we've got the opposite problem that I don't have a picture for this, but cargo bays sometimes they're light. You land somewhere dark, you open up the doors, and now you've just got this weird little light room with nothing spilling out of it. So again, let's have a video. Oh yeah, so this is the old system. The sun's working, but you can see there's no sky, there's no ground lighting. By the way, I've turned off a lot of the cockpit lights so that you can see this. And then in the new one, you can already see the skylight is kind of helping a little, but then as you turn over, you get all the ground lighting.
That's cool. See, that's the thing I like about these
Yeah, there's more.
events. It's like, you see people who
See,
are
one
like
of the concerns we had was that we didn't want to create a two-tier system. If people have got hardware ray tracing and it's working for them, that's great. But you can't really have the art team optimizing or seeing for one type of lighting and then having to optimize it for another type of lighting and having to trade off decisions about the two of them. So what we've been experimenting with is trying to create a new low bar that's higher than the old low bar, as well as creating a new high bar. And the idea for this is basically to take that single room environment probe system that we have been using, update it so that we can do live relighting on that, and then to sort of slot that in where the ray tracing would be while still keeping all of the other stuff, like the 25,000 probes and all that kind of stuff. can look at the old system and we kind of Frankenstein them together. So I'll show you what we've got so far for this. So this is just the old one and the new one so that you can see the problems. Like, just, it's overly lit, let's be honest.
Yeah, you can easily see that.
And now this is what Star Citizen would have looked like if we released it on the PS1. The sharp-eyed among you may have noticed also the ship is missing, but you know, we can't do dynamic objects in this. You'll be surprised. It doesn't seem to mind. And there we have software GI in the middle, which is, yeah, like I say, it was using the same 25,000 probe system, but not having to use any kind of hardware ray tracing. As you can see, it's not a perfect match. It's not identical, but it's a lot more dynamic than the old system.
See, there are people who love this kind of thing, who only want to see
And
new
finally,
lighting. But other people are just like, they don't really care. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, if it looks great, I'm down for it.
And finally, I'm just going to show you a to-do list here. I don't have pictures because it's stuff we've not done. Glossy reflections. Obviously, we want to complete the picture, and for that, we need to handle glossy reflections. That's self-explanatory, really. I don't know what to say about that. Secondly, you've only seen it on opaque surfaces so far. The next step is to extend this so that it can support glass and water and all the other transparent things in the game. And beyond that, we've obviously got fog, we've got other atmospherics. We want to expand GI to make sure that it affects everything smoothly and equally. And the final thing is a Star Citizen thing. We've got giant scenes, we've got a ridiculous scale on some things, and we've got plans to make sure that this GI extends to handle that full scale. Anyway, that's all I've got to tell you now. I've been Ben Parry. Next up, we've got Starcloth with Chris Rain.
Starcloth. Star hair. Star clothing technology confirmed.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
I am Chris Rain, and I would like to show you not one, not two, but 3 new physics of our physics engine. And I would like to start off by introducing Starcloth, our new character cloth simulation with a short video.
Ooh. Neat.
So this is just regular player movement. That was actually me playing. You can see the cloth collides with the ground.
That does look nice.
You can see multiple layers of cloth that do not interpenetrate. Cloth gets influenced from wind and has accurate collisions with the player's body.
Yeah, I like the non-clipping, because I think that would really make it a little bit weird.
We now have support for collisions from dynamic objects.
Wee, the soccer ball.
You can play football in any outfit.
Neat.
Starcloth supports the full range of motion a human can make, from fast movement to extreme poses.
I like that. That's nice. That's actually a really good effect in clothing.
Starcloth is designed to be a first-class member of our physics engine. It interacts with everything we have to offer, from character movement over forces like wind, thruster backwash, explosion, to projectile impacts and collisions. It's efficient. It always updates at 120 FPS, regardless of the frame rate, and is hand optimized. It's immersive and believable. It's a realistic simulation based on physical properties. It's high fidelity, high quality. We want to raise the bar with this. The visual geometry you see on the right is complex and not suitable for simulation. The visual geometry is made with visual quality in mind, and that does not translate well to simulation. So we decided to add the ability to use bespoke meshes that are made to simulate well and let their movement then deform the visual geometry. This allows us to share the same sim setup across multiple visual meshes, which is a huge productivity boost for tech art. We can seamlessly blend the simulation on and off, so we can disable the simulation at a distance. Back to the football. Everything that is dynamically simulated is able to interact with the cloth, from ships, over crates, boxes, and even footballs. We ensured that the collisions are accurate and believable. As you can see in the image, the football parts both layers of the gown. The cloth itself supports self-collisions, which means it will create folds and wrinkles, but not interpenetrate itself or other layers of cloth. The same applies to the static environment as well. The cloth will drape itself around the environment, so brushing up against objects will result in the behavior you expect. We added tapered capsules to improve collision detection accuracy. A tapered capsule is a capsule which has two different radii at the endpoints. Human anatomy is complex, and we need to accurately represent it for collisions. The traditional capsules we use on our ragdolls lead to jumps in the collision surface. Now, notice how there is a jump between the elbow and the lower arm, and another jump where the forearm connects to the hands. These jumps pose significant problems for our cloth simulation. If you look at the upper torso, you can see the collision proxies are actually completely hiding the cloth, and they're essentially completely useless. So now notice the difference on the same body represented with tapered capsules. We can now faithfully represent the hips, legs, and arms of the character. An additional benefit of tapered capsules is that the collision detection is significantly faster than with regular capsules. Currently, we're only using them for cloth collision detection, but in the end, we'd like to use them for everything. We simulate the cloth always at 120 FPS or 120 Hertz, regardless at which update rate the game is running at. We do this to be faithfully able to detect collisions with a fast-moving character. As we're simulating at a higher rate than the game updates, we have to interpolate the joint positions between updates we get from the game. At each simulation step, we perform collision detection, simulation, and update the cloth sim cage. Now, if the game is running at 120 FPS, we do one update for the cloth simulation. If the game updates at 60 FPS, like in the image, we simulate the cloth twice. Now, if the game runs slower, like at 30 FPS, we need to update the cloth 4 times. You can see this in the image. It becomes apparent that we need to make the cloth run as fast as possible, and we spent a great deal of amount of time optimizing this with various techniques, including handwritten vectorization and using every trick in the optimization handbook. The effort pays off because we can faithfully capture very complex movement and fast-moving characters, even at low frame rates, without any clipping or tunneling. Thank you. One area that poses a significant challenge for character cloth is when multiple pieces of garments layer on top of each other, like a tight-fitting jacket that lies on top of the pants, as you can see in the image above. This is a very difficult region to simulate properly because you don't have much space and the simulation collisions have to be absolutely accurate. This, what I'm going to show you, is a very subtle effect, but once you notice it, you cannot stop noticing it. I want to focus your attention to the waist region of the character. Here we tweak the simulation settings in real time to see the effect. Here you see a rendering with a high fidelity cloth disabled. And here the same scene with it enabled.
Ooh, that's nice. It's very small, but it's noticeable.
To be continued, tomorrow much more can be seen about Starcloth in the character advancement panel. Be sure not to miss out. Thank you. So, next up, Star Hair. Currently, we have the ability to simulate the effect of moving hair with joints that are essentially simulated pendulums. The hair is skinned to these joints, and when these joints move due to the pendulum simulation, the hair moves with it. This leads to a fast and believable movement of hair. However, the quality is directly correlated to the quality of the skinning, which is tedious for tech art to achieve for some complex hairstyles. Further, apart from gravity, the pendulum joints do not react to external forces like collisions or wind or explosions. So we asked ourselves, can we somehow improve upon this? And I'd like to show you some early prototype results of our research. This is an image of the raw geometry you saw in the previous image. You can see many strands of hair, and we thought to ourselves, maybe we can simulate all of these strands. This is a single strand isolated from the rest. As these are simple triangle meshes, we initially thought we could simply use our cloth simulation and simulate such a strand like a sheet of cloth. That didn't work out at all. It turns out hair does not behave like clothing. Also, the sheer number of strands and their individual triangles and vertices are simply too much to simulate efficiently, even for our highly optimized cloth engine. We realized then that our artists are actually using splines to create these strands. And a spline is a smooth curve or line through space. You could see that in yellow. And we thought maybe we can just simulate these. They're much simpler. And hair simulations need to be able to maintain the original hairstyle. You cannot have the hair simulation change the visual appearance of a character. One of the reasons why using the cloth simulation for hair did not work out at all is that the cloth only simulates vertices, and they have no concept of orientation. So you do not know how the next segment has bent in relation to your current segment. In other words, you cannot easily simulate twist with vertices alone. For splines, however, that is very easy to do. So all of this together allows us to simulate the strands according to the theory of Courseratte rods. A Courseratte rod allows you to model the behavior of slender one-dimensional rods, exactly what our splines are, and simulate bend, twist, stretch, and shear, exactly what we need. Hair also needs exact collision detection to not intersect with the head, the ears, the cheeks, the jaw region. The video I'm about to show you is some very early prototype footage of how such a simulation actually looks like. So this is a test of various head movements to see how the hair reacts. Hair simulation is one of the hardest things to simulate, especially in a real-time context, and very tricky to get right. We're actually simulating all the hair strands. So we will have characters being able to run their hands through their hair and have the hair react realistically. A barber simulation next. Actually, being a bald man, this was a very touching moment for me when I made this video. Thank you. Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce Maelstrom, our physically based destruction system. And I would like to do that with a video that I believe speaks for itself.
Yeah, this we didn't have this.
See the water splashes? We want players' intuitive prediction of the effect a weapon or a collision has to actually happen in the engine or in the game. So we decided to move away from hit point pools or other abstract models to simulate damage, but rather have damage be calculated from a physical model and from the physical material properties of each entity. If something breaks off due to its structural integrity decreasing below a certain threshold, Maelstrom allows it to break off in a realistic fashion. If you shoot off a wing, the missiles and weapons on that wing should still remain attached. If the broken off part still has power, electric items should still function. This means Maelstrom was needed to be designed to work with a hierarchical setup to begin with. From the hierarchical representation of the geometry we want to break off to the same hierarchy on a higher level for items like power plants, lights, weapon systems, and so on. Maelstrom is persistence and networking ready. We designed it from the ground up to work with high latency situations, to persist and replicate easily. To achieve all this, we gave each physical geometry instance an identifier to be able to uniquely identify it within the universe. So your Gladius wing is your Gladius wing. We added physical material and damage properties that can now be replicated across the network. One of them, and that's the most important one, we call integrity. And this determines how much structural or internal integrity a physical geometry has. Integrity is modified from dissipating or rather absorbing energy from kinetic impacts or energy weapons, and also in the future from absorbing energy from external factors like extreme temperature or fire, as you've seen before. We also track which physical part or geometry belongs to which visual geometry and which high-level entity. So if the structural or internal integrity collapses, we know which visual geometry is affected and which item might be affected as well. So a power plant will cease to emit power or implode, explode. A weapon will cease to fire, and so on. To make things break apart, we create what we call breakable clusters. A breakable cluster is a set of physical geometry, the visual geometry, and the entities on top that can break off. Between breakable clusters, we create abstract cantilever beams to be able to model stress and strain. I'll go into more detail in that in a bit. Breakable clusters are hierarchical. They mirror the hierarchy of all attached entities involved. They also embed the hierarchy of all animated joints. And they also embed the hierarchy of all physical geometries. They essentially represent a ground truth of the entire hierarchy necessary to perform all our goals for Maelstrom. This image is showing a breakable cluster graph of the Gladius. I'd like to show one more video of Maelstrom before we continue. We needed to find a good way to easily and efficiently determine when a breakable cluster breaks. We chose a well-established model from material sciences and structural engineering, cantilever beams. In essence, a cantilever is a structural member that has a fixed support and a free end. Forces experienced on the free end can be used to calculate the amount of stress the fixed support is enduring. The basic ideas behind that are best explained from a very simple example. If a ship were to collide with the horizontal part of the crane in the image, far from the vertical part, the fixed support would endure a higher stress as if the ship were to collide closer to the vertical part. But not only does the point of impact determine how much stress the cantilever beam experiences, also how large the surface area is connecting the cantilever and the fixed support has a large influence on when a cantilever beam will break. In our case, this actually means we analyzed the cross-section of the intersection of the set of geometry from two breakable clusters to calculate the surface area. A wing attached to the body has a rather large connecting surface area compared to the surface area calculated for the stabilizers connected to the body. We then project forces from impacts and explosions onto these cantilever beams and calculate the stress the beams experience. Over time, this stress turns into strain, and if we reach a certain threshold, the beam snaps. The result, simple, efficient, and deterministic breakability. But this is not just about ships and buildings that you saw in the videos before. We want Maelstrom to be a systemic system that we can use on all types of entities. So here's some video of some test footage of AI shooting each other behind breakable cover and Maelstrom barrels. Physical material properties influence damage and breaking and have a direct influence to how things break and fracture. To achieve this, we added various properties: density, yield strength, resilience, thickness, toughness, Young's modulus. And this is more or less what I wanted to talk about Maelstrom, but I don't want to leave without showing one more video of what carnage Maelstrom can create. So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Benoit.
Great, thank you. All right. I am not this person, but I'm filling in with him. So far, I mean, you guys think this is gonna change your game up to now? All these new features? Hell yeah. Okay, so we've seen updates from fire, water, we've just seen force, we've seen sun and light. So the next thing that's left to build a ludicrous space game is audio. And so I'll leave you with Graham, who's gonna show you some of the new audio enhancements we bring to Star Engine to make it even more realistic than it is now.
Okay, this is what I'm interested in.
Hi CitizenCon, Graham here. Good to see you. Recently in the audio team, we've been looking at how we can create a greater psychological connection and emotional impact within our games through the use of improved audio technology. Audio can play a crucial role in the immersion of the player, and with that in mind, the audio code and technical sound design teams have been looking at all of our tech from the ground up. For example, when you're under threat, you should feel a real sense of danger. When you're armed, you should feel the dangerous power that you hold within your hands. Earlier this year, we showed you our resonance tech, which allows us to bring the action much closer to the player even when they're deep in the bowels of a ship and far away from where all the hits and the explosions are happening. But that's just one part of a much larger push to create a better, more immersive audio experience. With that in mind, let's take a look at some of the tech we've been working on. First, let's listen to some of our weapon sounds in action. They're a great simulation, but we wanted to take them further and express the sound pressure, the forces being exerted. Our new in-house audio effects, particularly the multiband compressor, tuned by our sound designers, give us this result. The compression serves to illustrate the power of the weapons and the effect that they have when going beyond the limits of the listener.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's show you the same audio effects applied to the ship weapons, taking us from this to this.
Yeah, that's a lot better. You get that extra bass in it.
But it's not just about feeling powerful. Changes in audio can create a sense of danger, of being out on your own and under threat. Here's an example of ship combat. Sounds good, but what if we wanted a little more realism?
Ooh, nice different hit sounds.
The audio propagation tech that we've been rolling out makes it easier to change the soundscape in real time, and a nice use of that technology is to provide a more realistic option.
It does sound a lot better.
Here, your own weapons resonate through the hull of the ship. Only what's in the pressurized cockpit is heard clearly, and the threat level feels higher due to the isolating lack of enemy weapon and ship audio. Making these changes creates space in the audio, both spectrally and temporally, making impacts seem bigger, more damaging, more of a problem for the player. This realistic mode isn't limited to the flight experience, it's applied appropriately to the game as a whole. Here's an FPS battle in a depressurized area. With realistic mode, we get that sense of isolation again, giving the location a different colour and adding variety to the audio experience. Player breathing and foley are exaggerated, and other sounds are transmitted through physical contact. That's all from us for now. We look forward to getting these new audio features into your hands.
Those are nice. Those are really good. I really like those sounds.
All right. Hello, everyone. So, persistent entity streaming, replication layer, and beyond. My name is Paul Reindel. I'm Director for Online Technology. And I'm going to show you a little bit insight in our technology for persistent entity streaming and the replication layer. I thought about what's the best way to show you something about that tech. And I thought about putting some technical drawings on the slides, or maybe show video like we did 2 years ago. But really, the best way to show you how persistent entity streaming works is to give you a live demonstration. And that's what I'm going to do. All right. So this will all be live, so please bear with me if there's any glitches. So let's keep this rolling. I think I'm supposed to press the button. No, it's already switched. Before we start, a little bit, I just give you a little bit an overview what you see here. Let me set up everything. One moment, sorry. So on this left side, you will see my client window. And on the bottom side, you will see the server renderer. So for this demonstration, and I start a second client, I'm just stopping that. Sorry about that. This is live, all right. So again, on this side, you see the client. And he just logged out because I started a second client. So let's do this again. One more time. On this side, you see the server renderer, which is currently, it has nothing streamed in. I'm showing a small demonstration level. And on this side, you see the entity graph, which is our online database. That's powering what you see in persistent entity streaming, what you play since 3.18. And I also have some metrics on the screen which shows the entity graph worker, the requests per minute, per second, the mutations, and you also will see entities created and destroyed once I do that. All right, so let's wait for my client to come up and join this level. So the first thing that will happen when I join this level, you will see on that server everything streams in, and my client gets connected and also streams in everything on the client view. What would happen on the behind the scenes is that my player just got unstowed into that shard, and we at real time created everything for this player. So you will see his body is attached to the player, you will see his mobi-glass, his head with all his customizations, his undersuit, and then all his customizations as well on the undersuit. What you also see is that this player just got unstowed and attached to a static zone object container. And this is how our zone system works. Basically, on the server, you will see 3 different zones, purple, green, and red. And each zone comes with its own coordinate system and its own physical grid. And this is how we actually, on live, do zone transitions between your ship, empty space, space station, or a planet. And you will see, as I walk between those zones, I will, at real time, update it in that entity graph. And this all happens seamless. So for a client, this is completely transparent. You don't notice that. But this is actually what's happening when you step in or out into a ship. And this is very unique to our engine. No other engine has this zone system. And that allows us to do all the amazing stuff you saw in the videos before, transitioning in and out of planets and go from the smallest scope to the largest scope. So everything we do in a shard, so this is like a mini level, like the mini PU level, is also persisted in this database. When we create new entities in our engine, in Star Engine, those entities get pushed into our entity graph, into our online database at real time, and then from there replicated to our clients. So if I go ahead and spawn a couple of plushies here, you will see they spawn, they get created immediately on my entity graph and replicated on the server and on the client. So let's spawn a couple more here. And you see this, the pengus I spawn in the other zone get attached to the other zone. And then if I go and transition one of those, they will also transition between the different zones. And the same works for ships or more complex entities. If I spawn this buggy here, you will see this one gets created with all its attachments and everything else attached to it. And this is just my small demo level here. On live, we have up to 600,000 dynamic entities that get created for one single shard. And this is just the initial state. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks of gameplay, when you guys go in and destroy stuff, spawn stuff, play around, it goes in the millions of entities. So this in itself is pretty amazing tech. The next time I want to talk about is our streaming system. Most engines do stream on texture or geometry. We actually stream entities, and we do stream persistent entities. So when I turn on the streaming system here and I walk into this, if I walk over to the red area, you will see that the purple area will stream out together with all the entities on that server. So it does not only stream out on my client, it actually streams out on that server. And when I come back in the green zone, that purple zone streams back in with all the entities in there with their full persistent state. So now I have a second player join. Benoit is going to join me. So Ben, if you want to join, okay, I think we see him over there. Hey, Ben. Sorry. Nice. All right, I'm going to spawn a couple more penguins here. Because the next thing I want to talk about is new technology we are right now developing, and we are about to put on the tech preview for you to play. And this is actually the replication layer split. And that's the big next step in our great vision, obviously, as you might know. So in this demo, my client and my servers, they are no longer directly connected. Actually, I have a new service running here, and that is our replication service. So my client is connected to this replication service, and my server is connected to this replication service. And the replication service, the sole purpose is to get all the entities which are in the entity graph and stream them to clients and servers which are connected to. And what's really cool about this is, let's do a little experiment here. I mean, you all know our game has bugs. It's still alpha, and sometimes things can happen. So let's see what's happening when I kill my server here. And so this is my server, the actual console. So let's just shut it down. And yes, this is where you would usually see a 30K or something. You can see Benoit kind of froze there for a bit, and the buggy does a bit weird stuff. I can shoot those pingus, but the world is really in a frozen state right now. But I didn't disconnect, because I'm connected to the replication layer and not to the server anymore. In the meantime, I'm just starting a new server. Let's be a bit patient for it. It should come back online in a second. And as you can see, now that the server came back, it restored the state. It restored the state, and the simulation just continues to work as before.
So he basically 30K.
So this will be, again, this is a very early tech.
Restarted the server.
But this is a great benefit of what we have with our replication layer split.
And everything that was there when it crashed is in the same spot.
There's one more thing.
When it came back. That's neat.
And let's try this thing again. I just killed my server, and I'm trying to do that again. But this time, we're doing something different. So let's first go in here. This is my development tool. I can talk about it in a second. So let's stop that server again. And restart. And this will take a little bit. I'm running this tool you see here. This is our internal development tool. This tool runs the entire stack of our game on this PC. This is obviously for development only, and I can do that with my small test level. But this really helps online devs and all people who work on the incredible, complicated tech we hear to be able to develop our game. And because I run everything on this PC, it's a bit slow. So let's wait and see what's happening here. All right. Simulation continues. I can see Ben moving again. Hey, Ben. However, what just happened? Well, as you can see on my screen, I no longer have one server connected. I have 3 servers connected to this replication layer. So what you guys see here, this is the very first version of a working server mesh.
That's what a lot of people have been wanting for. They finally wanted to do server meshing. So it's good that we've actually been able to see the very first renderation of it, which is going to seriously.
All right.
Which is going to significantly.
So now I'm going to explain a little bit how this magic works, because it is truly magic. Each server, when it came up and the replication layer realized there are 3 servers, we assigned different zones to those servers. And we said, okay, server 1, you are the authority over the purple area. Server 2, you are the authority over the green area. And the last server is authoritative over the red area. You can still see that those servers have all those entities replicated, but only the entities within their zone are actually authoritative on that server. So while I'm in this green zone at the moment, my entity is simulated on that green server and just replicated on the other server. And now, as I transition between those zones, you will see that on that green server, I just lost authority, and on that purple server, I just gained authority. And because my player was replicated on both servers, this completely works seamless. And again, let's do that a couple of times. You see on my client here, I don't notice anything of that. This all happens behind the scene. And this doesn't work only on me. Let's turn on the zone colors and the object, the authority assignment on the client as well. You can see that even entities, as they transition into the other zone, seamlessly transition to that zone. And not only that, I can also interact with entities that are on the other side. So if I go on the green zone, for example, and I shoot this, I can still shoot that purple entity. And I can also just go ahead and destroy that buggy which sits on that other zone. There you go. Always fun to blow stuff up, right? All right. So there's more to this. The first thing I will do, let's spawn a fresh buggy. I just destroyed my old one. When I go into this buggy, I will become part of the aggregate. And that means that now my buggy and myself will transition authority together. And this is how we make sure that my player, while he's driving this buggy, is always authoritative on the same server. So you can see, as I drive around with this buggy between the zones, I will switch between the different servers. All right. But there's more to this. So remember when I turned on the streaming earlier? The same streaming mechanics work here as well. Like, obviously, in this example right now, you can see all those servers, they have all those entities replicated. And it's a little bit wasteful because you have 3 servers, all need to replicate all those entities. And that's where streaming comes into play. I can turn on streaming here, and you will see that suddenly my purple server no longer has the red area streamed in. And the red server no longer has the purple area streamed in. So let's see what's happened when I drive my buggy backwards into that into the red zone. What happens on that purple server? And I just disappear. So right now, on this server, there's only Benoit replicated. And Benoit, if you come to me over in the red area, you will see that now on this server, there's no client at all. And in theory, we could now completely stream out the entire area on that server, or stream in a new area. And you will also see, as I drive back into the green area, I will magically reappear on that purple server. And this obviously works on the other side as well. Let's get a couple more player join. I have a couple more QA in the back, so you can just see the whole thing running in live with a bit more things going on. Get out of this buggy. And you will see on each server renderer which clients are currently replicated on those servers.
Alright, so I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of an example or a little explanation. Trying to think, how should I do this? So actually, no, never mind. I was going to say something, but there's no point. Never mind.
This is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It has been a long time to come to this point, and I just can't put in words how much tech and work we had to put into this. Big shout outs to the network team, big shout outs to the online services team, big shout outs to Chris to let us doing this.
It's been a really long journey to get to this point. And I've got to say, the team has done an amazing job. They've been working diligently for the last 4 or 5 years. We've had a couple of false starts. We finally have an incredible, I mean, the way the replication layer works and how we can spin up servers and down and keep the state constant, even if a server goes down, is, I think, a genius design. And the first time I saw this, about 3 weeks ago, working fully, I cried. It's like giving birth.
We did it!
And we wouldn't have been able to do this and work on this kind of tech without all your support.
That's right.
100%.
Now, you guys
and your trust.
allowing us to take the time to do it right, to really build it. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So much for everyone, and thank you everyone at CIG that's really worked hard to deliver all this amazing stuff that will be either in your hands now or in your hands very soon. And this is just the beginning of CitizenCon. We got a lot more stuff to show you.
Yeah.
That's what we need for this MMO, guys. That's what we need.
Great demo, by the way. That's good.
All right.
That was great. Come on, come here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I know I'm live. Dan, I gotta digest what we just saw. Take it away from that boat, Dan.
What is up, everyone? We are back here on the CitizenCon show floor. Give it up for that amazing panel you just saw. We are so excited to have all that stuff working. We're here at the Atmo Fight or Flight area here at CitizenCon 2953 at the Los Angeles Convention Center. I have with me 2 of our content creators who are going to be in the Fight or Flight later today. We got Bognagas and Lizzie. What is up, guys? We're going to be doing some lightning round questions about your guys' upcoming stuff. First question, how does it feel to see Atmo come to life here at CitizenCon?
It's so cool. It's this is the first real esports thing at an event like this for Star Citizen, so I'm really excited to be a part of it.
I think it's a great opportunity for the community to showcase the PvP in the Star Citizen community.
Fantastic. What's your mindset going into your guys' match today?
Don't lose, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna beat him.
Good mindsets. Preferred dogfighting ship?
The Arrow.
Definitely the Ghost, Hornet Ghost.
All right. Advice to people learning dogfighting in Star Citizen?
Nose to the grindstone, go hard at it.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Just jump into Arena Commander and just put in the hours. It's a lot of fun, worth it.
All right. Where can people follow you guys?
Twitch and Twitter, LazyB_.
Yeah, same thing. Twitch, Bognagas.
All right. And, you know, a lot of tension, a lot of animosity. Say something nice about your opponent.
He's got a great mustache.
I'm going to feel really bad blowing him up.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for Atmo Fight or Flight. The matches are going to be starting soon. I'm going to cut it back to Jared and the CitizenCon main stage. We'll see you guys back here on the floor soon. See you guys then.
Hello. I'm Thorsten Leimann, lead systems designer for the EUPU team, and welcome to this little presentation of our most ambitious feature that we are working on for quite a while already. We already talked about it several times, but this time it will be a little bit different. So before we start jumping into the presentation, here's a little disclaimer.
everything that you are about to see in this presentation was done by the EUPU team, so, well, mostly. We got help from the vehicle content team and the VGPU team. So what you will see here is mainly placeholder art that was either done by Guillermo, Bastien, or me, so members of our team, and it's gameplay that we focus on in this presentation. So what you will notice here is also that the UI is still work in progress, so visual changes even throughout this entire presentation. So we are still iterating. But let's start with the actual presentation. Those that follow us for quite some time probably know about the resource network already, but let's do a brief recap. We will be talking here about our technology, that is resource network, and the engineering gameplay that can be called a child of the resource network. The engineering task will allow you to manage your ships, outposts, and possibly other things. Let's have Guillermo talk about the technology first. So welcome on stage, Guillermo.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Guillermo Bilbao, gameplay programmer for this team, and I'm going to talk about the resource network. So what is the resource network? The main drive for the resource network was replacing the previous pipe system you might have heard about with a new system that was more generalized, easier to expand, and that would support all the gameplay we actually want to do. And yeah, so it is a network, as you can see on that picture, showing the connections between different items, even those inside of your containers. And it enables specifically the relay gameplay we're going to show right after. So it will have a global impact. You're going to see it in ships. You're going to see it in outposts. It's built to work with the cargo system in some ways. And as for interacting with it, the engineering gameplay we're going to show today is going to be the biggest example, but you will also see it in other places, especially in missions. Let's have Thorsten talk about it a bit more.
So hello again. So as a crew member of a ship or as a person managing an outpost, you have several responsibilities, where the engineering topic can be split in 3 activities, and you can decide to share those responsibilities or take them all by yourself. It's really up to you. Every task requires their own skills and their own tool sets. There is tuning. Here you are responsible for preparing your ship. Your journey did not start yet, so you adjust your ship items based on your goals for the travels. Exchange sub-items, adjust the default settings of your power plant, basically operations that require you to turn off the items or even remove them from their sockets. The next activity is maintaining, and this is all about damage control and keeping the items in pristine or pristine enough state. You are the mechanic that makes sure that everything is and stays operatable. Maybe even...
Alrighty, so I'm going to just keep the stream up going for you guys. Basically how it's going to work is obviously this is taking place in Los Angeles at the Convention Center, and about at 2 o'clock or at 1:30 they're going to have a cosplay competition, but then at 2 they're going to have their lunch break. After 2 o'clock, they're then going to go into, which is probably what everyone's going to be excited for, which is talking ships for basically just ship discussion of what they're adding for the future, what they have now for 2953. After lunch, I'm gonna. So basically, what you guys are going to see is what's going to be on the go up on the channel on YouTube. I will keep the recording going past lunch. So if they're still, because obviously there's still going to be stuff that they're going to be streaming during the lunch period if they are. After lunch, I will then start the live for the ship talk. So that will be both on Twitch and on YouTube at the same time. So I'm gonna leave this going for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will hopefully see you guys sometime around lunch, which will be probably in little over an hour by now, or a little over like maybe 45 minutes or so. So we'll see you then.
Is in low health. Low health means you can still repair it. So which you will be happening now with Guillermo and Pete repairing the power plant after I removed it from the Fury. So it's making it fully functional again. And here you see the debug UI, the health is now fully up again, and that means that it runs at full efficiency again. And here you also see that the shield generator is at 0 health, so the destroyed shield generator cannot be repaired because it's destroyed, so I have to exchange it with the spare one that I collected from the Gladius. So with all those repairs being done, the Fury is operatable again and it can go its way. So getting back to the responsibilities. A big one is managing your ship, which includes resources, but also more general aspects. You have to manage the power distribution and come up with informed decisions, like reacting to hazards like malfunctions, fire, low energy, but also calling out items that need repair and maintenance. You will delegate the rest of your crew to keep your ships intact, like giving clear priorities of what needs to be done first. Let's take a look at another video here. So this is the first glimpse of the engineering UI in action. It is still being worked on, so it's heavy work in progress. Let's start with looking at the item view. So you can see the full setup of the network with the relays, the green dots connecting to each other, and the relays connecting to the items. Color and shape below the icons should help you identify the different item types, like power plants, weapons, also helping differentiate between consumer, producer, and converters. You can tell the current state of the item, that means the amount of energy it produces, consumes, or has stowed, the health state it is in, the current wear and tear on the item, and the current state it runs in, like charging or being in an idle state. You can directly interact with these items, turn them on and off, and in the future even switch their states. If you hover over a relay, that I will be hopefully doing soon, you will also see that the amount of fuses that are still active and because a relay consists of several fuses, basically they're their own set of lives. And here you see all the details. Like you can click on the items to see a 3D render of the power plant here, the quantum drive, sorry. And here's the relay overlay. Here Pete shoots a relay to show the UI updates on the screen. So once this relay got shot at, you will see the update here on the UI that suddenly the entire right-hand side of your ship lost power connection. And what you might have not picked up on the screen is that actually the power plant here that I'm now focusing on is on low health. So I'm commanding Simon to repair the power plant to get it fully operational again. So something to highlight here, take a closer look at the doors. Since we also track the door states, you see that you can watch movement inside your ships now nicely. So you can track players moving around in your ship and even close doors for them, or like compartments in this case where Simon just forgot to close the compartment. Yeah, so Pete destroyed the relay, but we need the ship in fully functional state. So yeah, I'm running now with a fuse and place it in the relay, so make the relay work again. What you can also do with the doors is that you can create safe pathways, because you sitting at this engineering screen have more information in regards to your ship than the others. So you open doors to create a path that the players on your ship have to take. Now to the room view. That is mainly the life support controls plus controlling all doors. Again, we show the details of each room, like the temperature, pressure, atmosphere composition, so everything that is relevant for like you living on a ship. We also show the door states where you can now have precise control over each door in your ship, as you see here. This will also allow you to have more control over which door or compartments to open. So here, again, showing opening the power plant. That also helps very much in already telling players, hey, you should repair this item, so I open that door for you, and they directly know which item you mean. It also allows us to control like the outside-facing doors much better. So you can directly open, if you just want to open the left side ramp, or the front-facing ramp, or the back-facing ramp. So we did it last year already, but let's make our crew suffocate again. So the moment that you basically pull off their helmets, and now me pressing the cycle button, you see that the entire atmosphere in this room is vented. And yeah, well, the consequence is death. So, as you can tell, engineering gameplay will bring a lot of changes. Some of those changes are adding batteries to ships that will allow you to get a little bit of extra power for a short amount of time. Allowing you to control items directly, where it's not only their on-off state, but also their resource consumption. And where the biggest change that will come in this update is basically to the resource consumption and generation. So let's talk about energy balance. Currently, ships are balanced such that they consume less energy than they produce. What I mean with that is that the sum of all items requires less energy than the power plant will provide. And this has to change. The energy rebalance that I will explain to you now will affect mainly bigger ships. Single-seaters will still behave like they do now. For big ships, we will focus on item groups. Those require energy, but your ships will not provide enough energy to have all components run at 100% all the time. Instead, you have to decide what you want to have permanently powered by your power plant. So managing decisions will have an impact now. You could decide, as in this example, to shut down your thrusters to turn on the weapons. Isn't the best choice, since you will not be able to maneuver, so might not help when you are attacked. You would be able to shoot though. And here comes in the batteries. In scenarios where you need to react, you can activate the batteries and use the additional power. Batteries won't last forever, but you at least can power additional systems. You will be able to recharge the batteries again, but you need to free up energy from the power plant to direct into the batteries. I think that was a little bit more than just a recap, but now Guillermo will talk about malfunctions.
So I will talk about malfunctions real quick and get you guys to the next video since we're a bit behind schedule. What are more functions? You've seen misfires in the persistent universe for seals, for thrusters. You've seen a very basic version of it. We're making them more complex. We're making them more lethal in some ways and more fun to interact with. Also, some of the new functions will include fire, spreading misfires that represent electrical surges going through the ship, or signature bursts, which increases your signature and makes you show up on enemy sensors more easily. As for how you will counter them, you've seen suffocating people with life support. You will also be able to suffocate the fire with life support, which is probably more useful. You will be repairing them, not necessarily only with a repair beam, but also replacing parts or some bespoke behavior per misfire. And if all else fails, just turn it off and on. And here's a video of the fire in action. You've seen in other videos the fire. This is a small fire. You can just put it out with a fire extinguisher. Pretty simple. It just works. Here's a bit of a bigger fire. It might be that you cannot only put it out on your own. So here we have one crew member that's going to try to put it out with a fire extinguisher to mixed results. And here we have the option of using the life support system Thorsten showed up before, and just venting the area. And now you can see that the fire, once we get to that compartment, has been successfully put out. Okay, so let's get Thorsten back on stage. You saw a lot of the systems in action, but let's get a video of one of our play sessions, which is going to probably show it a bit better.
So, yeah. I have to excuse myself already because I was leading this group of players being attacked by the Gladius, and I did a poor job, but more to that in that video. Yeah, Guillermo, I wanted to talk about...
So for this demo, we have modified the damage system slightly to represent impact penetration on a very basic level. So you are going to see that the quantum drive is going to be hit by the Gladius attacking the ship.
So, yeah, being attacked by a Gladius for an A2 isn't like a big challenge, but in this setup we were not like fully staffed. That means we had our engineers running around and yeah, no one being seated in the turrets. So, yeah, our goal was basically to flee the Gladius, and yeah, with the Gladius actually shooting the quantum drive and damaging it, I thought, hey, it's a good idea to tell Pete and Simon to repair the quantum drive as a priority. As you can see, I somehow missed that the habitation room caught fire. I tried to, yeah, well, prevent further damage to it, but yeah, I failed. Yeah, so that was causing a bit to the panic, so I even got distracted in this moment. So we managed to have the quantum drive survive, but here I notice, oh, actually the power plant also starts to take damage, and at this moment I'm also telling Pete and Simon to switch their attention to the power plant, because if we lose the power plant, it's also like almost impossible to flee. So here I realized, oh my god, we are going down fast, and I think at this point now, yeah, I opened the compartment to make it access faster, but that was already too late, so the power plant died. And yeah, so the backup is to activate the batteries, which I did here. So Simon and Pete still tried their very best to fix it, but yeah, didn't manage to. Yeah. The attack moved to the forward side, targeting the batteries, because the player who was attacking us actually knew the ship layout. And yeah, here I notice that the second power plant is also got attacked, so have to redirect our mechanics to it. And at this point, we wanted to flee, and then I realized why doesn't the quantum drive work? And as you saw, that there is a relay that also got destroyed. So here you see it very clearly that with a relay being destroyed at the quantum drive position, that means that the quantum drive cannot be accessed from the pilot seat. That means that I also had to get that repaired. So it was a bit chaotic. Everything was also happening a bit too fast. Here trying to save the second power plant because we were already running out of battery life. So if we would have lost the second power plant, that would have been our certain death. And I think in the next part of the video, we basically asked someone to fix the relay at the back so that we still be able to jump away. So we at least managed to save one of the power plants. Yeah, that's now, I think it was Pete running there and fixing the fuse. And the next step was the pilot trying to push the quantum drive, but it was too late. We died. And the end of the show. Yeah, thanks. So what you just saw gives a good idea of how busy ships will be and what meaningful multi-crew gameplay will look like. But what about the future? Since we worked on technology that will be used throughout the entire game, you will see more and more coming utilizing this tech. It will introduce systemic gameplay with allowing players to come up with creative ways of manipulating their environments, sabotaging a power plant or destroying a vital relay that connects it all to shut down an entire enemy base that can include its life support or security systems. It would also tie in nicely with Maelstrom that you just saw, and anything that will break off will lose its connection to the network and therefore have an impact on its functionality. So it's a real systemic feature. The technology allows us also to take further steps into the crafting profession as well as in the base building, where both are related to each other. Bases built by player will also form resource networks and come with their unique challenges similar to ships. We are all really excited about the future of this tech and all the associated features. So there's a huge thanks for all people involved. So thanks to the entire EUPU team, the vehicle teams, Jared, Active Feature team, and the Arena Commander team. They all were super supportive to get this behemoth into a state that you could see here. And it's something that has been a long time coming, and we are really proud of it. So thank you for sticking with us on this journey. Wait, there's one more thing. So we really want to get your hands, we really want you to get your hands on this because we already had a lot of fun with it. I hope all of you have heard of the experimental mode in the Arena Commander. So we want to bring you what you saw here as an experimental mode before we put everything into the PU. And this will be soon. So, thank you.
Camera 4. Hi, everybody. I think I'm supposed. There we are. You know, when we started this, we said we'd have a nice, relaxed pace. That's a lot of new content coming in just the last 2.5 hours now. We are going to slow things down. We're going to take a little fun break here. We're going to do a cosplay contest, because why the heck not? And then we're going to take our lunch. So all you restreamers during the lunch, you can have a time to open your mouth and talk to your communities, because I can imagine you over the last 2.5 hours just trying to get a word in edgewise. So let's go to the cosplay contest, hosted by Galactica, our social media manager, with special judges, Kat, Forrest, and me.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna switch on over to some guys over on the YouTubes this time and hear what they have to say about all that.
I'm gonna run and grab like a drink and a pee. I'll be right back, okay?
Sounds good, man.
Hello and welcome to the Citizen 2953 cosplay contest powered by Toby Gaming. I'm Galactica, social media manager for Star Citizen, or as I like to say, professional ship poster. And on stage
Don't
with
worry,
me,
guys,
I have Kat
There's more
Reeves.
panels coming up today.
She's our
after
creative director.
costumes.
Okay. And then next to Kat,
Talking
we
ship
have Forrest,
comes after cosplay, guys.
who's our principal technical artist, and who let this guy on stage? Security?
Okay, never mind. We're gonna stay on Twitch.
Okay, a good number of you. Okay, so for those of you who have not used it,
So after the cosplay competition, it's going to then be talking ship. That is when I will go live.
to the left, and now to the right. All right, now wouldn't that be awesome if you could do that in game and not have to use your hands to do camera controls? That would free up your ability to focus on your flight and your fighting in game. And with all of that, you can do with the Tobii Eye Tracker 5, which is some of the prizes that we're going to be giving out today. So thank you so much, Tobii, for being here and for providing these prizes for us. All right, now, who's ready to see some cosplayers? Can we get some drum rolls? Yes. Judges, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so coming up first, we have Diabolus.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Do a spin for us.
Not bad, not bad. Pretty good.
Who is this? Who is this?
This
Diabolus.
is the Artemix Elite Hurston armor.
If you want to get a closer look or ask any questions, you're more than welcome to.
Hey, do man.
I can't see anything, and I can't hear
It's right here. I'll guide you. I'll guide you. He can't see anything. Come this way and stand right here. Just don't move. You'll be safe.
We're letting them walk
All
right off the
right,
stage.
we're ready for cosplayer number 2 with Kin Shadow.
Wow.
Make some noise for Kin Shadow.
That was Kin Shadow?
That is Kin Shadow. All right, and number 3 is a little bit special. We have the entire Ninetales gang.
Quick.
Hey, you guys know this isn't Grimhex, right?
I think we're human shields right now.
That's a cool tie.
All right, I think Jumptown might be safe right now.
How tight are those pants?
Not that tight. Not for a good time.
Do this?
Squat test confirmed.
Okay. Next.
All right, next is Hindrosa.
I want to move you. Oh, come on down here. Everywhere. I got you. Right there. Good job. Okay.
So if you are not familiar with Hindrosa does stream on Twitch, and I was lurking a little bit in his chat while he was making this outfit, and he told me that he has never made a cosplay before, and that he had to learn how to sew and do a lot of different fabrications in order to make this outfit, which is quite impressive for a first cosplay. I've made probably about 100 cosplays, and they look nothing like that, so GG's. All right, up next, we have Lito as Jimmy. There we go. I was waiting for that.
Speech.
I'll be right back. Keep going without me.
Are we gonna get Jax?
Where is Jax? Have you seen him? Have you seen Jax? No.
Are we waiting for Jax?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's take a look at him while we're waiting.
Anybody want to sing a song? T-pose? All right, for everybody who's on stage, I want you to do like your best in-game emotes impression. Oh, there we go.
Oh!
Well, the real Jimmy,
Did he just
please
have
stand
that?
up.
Like,
He always has that.
can't see.
All right, and up next we have Britty Kitty.
Not bad.
Wow.
Not bad, not bad.
Can you see in that thing?
Oh.
That's amazing. All right, and next we have Jack Montana.
Why does she look so like she just looks so uncomfortable. Like
I'm
The only one that's going to be able to bring Luke back.
I know.
All right, and next we have a familiar face, Sigillian.
Yeah, she just does not. Just looks so.
Also, side note, if you have never had pizza made by Sigillian, I highly recommend it. You're missing out. All right. And up next we have Cyberwolf 74.
Minus 5 points.
Right over, right over.
Doesn't know where to go.
All right, and last we have Cats.
Guys, step forward on this line. Step forward on this line. In the middle of this.
And her Pico sidekick, of course. We can't forget Pico.
I love your 90s
That is so great.
Step forward.
Perfect.
All right, judges, feel free to go around, ask questions, think really hard, and let me know when you have your top 3.
All right. Hey, John, can we kill the... Good. There you go.
Testing. My mic is on.
I'm gonna go
We good?
with little this one. The one.
Are we back on? All right.
Yep.
All right.
So that was that was easier than we thought. You got yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got mine. I think I got mine.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, let's announce our 3rd place winner.
Step forward.
I'll let Kat announce it.
So in third place, we have Diabolus in the Artemex Elite Hurston armor, and you win a Tobii Eye Tracker 5 and an A1 Spirit. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome job.
Wait, and a Spirit?
Yeah.
Congrats, got the new Spirit Bomber.
All right, if I can have you when you're done, just stand right here.
Right.
Coolio.
All right, let's have you stand right here, because then we're gonna have everybody line up. I don't know if he can see very well. I was gonna lead you along. All right, right here. Okay, right. Yep. Don't need to get off stage, but right here is fine. Okay. And second place winner, Forrest. Who do we got?
One step back, right here.
For second place, went with Hydrosa with the advocacy. Woo!
Oh. Congratulations.
I like the glasses and the slick back hair. That's really fun.
All right, I'm gonna have you stand right here. And can we get a drum roll in the audience, please? Make some noise.
All right. First place is an OG. This is a Star Citizen, goes back to 2012. I've been to Disneyland with this guy. I've played with this guy. I pushed him around in a wheelchair. Just so happens to have our first place costume this year. Ken Shadow with the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 and an Anvil Carrot. All right. Picture. Pictures. And then receive your trophy.
Congratulations. I'm going to have you stand right here. So we know that these cosplayers put a lot of work and time and dedication into their outfits. So as a little token of appreciation, we're also going to give everybody here on stage with us today a free ship that I cannot announce until the next panel. So if you want to know what that ship is, stay tuned for the next panel and you'll find out. But thank you all for being here and for putting all this work into your outfits. The judges, do we have any final thoughts?
No, I think we need to get together and take a big photo and then go to lunch. All right, let's get together. Here. Close gaps. Close ranks.
Huddle.
Okay, so they're getting a new ship, which means that's going to be a brand new ship that hasn't been announced yet. Woohoo! It's exciting. Pictures. We love pictures. Woo! I like this one. The girl. This one.
No. Say Star Citizen.
I liked hers.
You too, Tyler. All right, everybody, that does it for us. We're going to take a break for lunch. We'll come back at 3 p.m. with Talking Ship. So.
And as your resident social media manager, I have to remind you to make sure you're using the hashtag CitizenCon2953 when you're uploading your photos to social media. We're actually going to reward some of our favorite posts with some VKB joysticks, so make sure you're putting those on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it these days. Thank y'all, and enjoy the rest of your CitizenCon. Thank you guys so much.
Alrighty. Alright, now we'll go over to those guys and see what they have to say. Go to YouTube. I mean, that was a lot. That was good. I didn't think the first half was pretty good. just talking graphics and other stuff, so it was kind of meh. I mean, I don't really care about that, but
You got to do this now.
Well, and they gotta test replication anyways, right? So it's two birds, one stone.
Exactly.
And there's a reason why they were being so secretive about replication. They renamed 321, right? So that's what I think. Anyways.
Yeah, Greasy's saying you stole his prediction.
I stole his prediction?
Yeah.
all right. So I will see you guys after the lunch break. So I gotta find someone who I can just watch and they can talk about the other half.
There's actually an unannounced straight to flyable ship coming out. So when they say unannounced, it means, you know, it can't be Polaris or whatever. So wait, I just didn't mean to add another one. So here is what we've got on the poll. We've got the Zeus Mark II, which is one thing that we've heard of. There's the Cutter variant, which would be very lame. We actually don't know what it is, or not accidental option. That was, I accidentally clicked add one and I didn't see a delete. Because a lot of people have been saying the Zeus Mark II is gonna be like it's still in white box, and that was in the pipeline Discord. But that, you know, so it's not 100% if it's in the pipeline Discord, but it's something to take into consideration. They seemed pretty adamant that it still was in white box. If they say it's the it's the Cutter variant, that's fucking lame, dude. Hey, this is how you doing?
What the heck? Why is there no audio? What the heck? Why is there no audio? Oh, there we go. Alright, so lunch break's gonna happen at probably dose o'clock, which it is now 1:53, so we have a little while. So. I'm actually going to stop now and have a stream and record video of ships. And I found some better knowledge about some guys in the valley. Bye! And this will be 2 parts on YouTube. This will be part 1, and after the ship talking, that'll be part 2, and then we'll do again day 2.